everybody, and welcome back to Paranormal Nation Radio. Not so normal.
Hello,
It's
everyone.
not so normal day or week so far.
Man.
It has been a not so normal month. So
I know.
it is what it is. And I'd like to apologize to everybody who was looking forward to a Paranormal Pride last night. I was not feeling well. We don't know what was going on. The doctor put me on another antibiotic. They think I have either bronchitis or pneumonia. And I think they mostly got that from me saying, hey, my ribs hurt.
Right.
They put me on an inhaler on Friday, which has prednisone in it.
Right.
Guess what I'm allergic to? I'm allergic
Prednisone.
So, but they said that it shouldn't, because it's going into my lungs, it shouldn't cause a problem.
Yeah, it's not full blown.
But it could. And I had similar symptoms to pancreatitis yesterday. So, we'll find out. I took my inhaler a little bit ago. If I get sick again tomorrow. Yep.
Oh, I was going to ask you if you did.
If I get sick tomorrow, then I'll know that it's the inhaler and to stop using it. But, being sick for 3 weeks with this bad cold, you don't know.
And you're going to get a lot more of it.
Yeah, that's what the pharmacist
you've been
said.
working.
Yeah.
Everybody you're going to meet in Walmart working on those machines and stuff is going to be sick. So don't be surprised.
Well, our pharmacist, when we're getting their prescription filled, he said there's all kinds of stuff going around, and he would know.
Well, Spickard, Missouri already shut their school down.
Yeah.
Because of this new flu bug.
Yeah. He said the flu's going around, this virus that we're pretty sure we had or are getting over. He said this thing's hanging around for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because I was starting to feel better last week, and then I started feeling like crap Sunday. I'm like, what the hell?
And like I said, I tested negative for everything.
Yeah.
So when I went to the doctor on Friday, I was expecting a lung x-ray.
Mm-hmm. They didn't?
Nope. Mm-mm. Got an
I figured
inhaler.
they would to see if you have bronchitis, pneumonia, or whatever in there.
Right. And so they sent me home with an inhaler. And Monday, me calling back to the doctor saying, hey, I'm not feeling any better. In fact, I'm feeling worse. And they said, if you feel worse, start running a fever or any of this, call us. And I'm grateful they didn't ask me to drive up there because I couldn't hold my head up that long. So, I mean, when we went to the pharmacy, they called my prescription in at like 10:30 in the morning. We didn't go until 5 because I had to have him take me. So I would have been a danger to anybody out on the road.
Yeah. Well, if you're dizzy and about to pass out.
And then Leah called about 9:30. They needed some stuff for Ruby. And we ended up having to go over there. And I told her, I said, I can't drive over there. So he brought me over. And I sat in the car and he ran the stuff up.
Right.
I mean, I didn't have to go. I could have stayed at home. You did run?
Yeah.
Did you?
Did run.
Oh, good for you.
He had to get some exercise.
I pretty much just laid there in the seat going, please hurry up. Please hurry up. Please
I'll bet. I'll bet. And I mean, this weather we're having doesn't help it.
Oh, yeah. I know. It's nice and toasty right now.
Yeah, just
cold one day, warm the next day, wet, drizzly.
And this is the nicest day we're supposed to have.
It poured here last night.
Yeah, it did up here too.
And coming from the east.
Our room faces the east, and we usually don't get hardly any storms from the east. It's usually west or from the north. But
right.
Yeah, our window is getting pounded.
I mean, well, you look at, I haven't kept up on it for a little while today, but Oklahoma got hit with tornadoes.
Yeah.
And now part of Texas, Fort Worth did, and Louisiana and everything. And check with your kids down there in Florida because it's going down that way.
She sent me a message. She said, Mom, they told us we have to find an interior room. She goes, where should we go in our house? I said, your laundry room or your hallway.
Right.
With the doors closed.
Yep.
And then she sent me a house that she says, this is perfect for you guys. So she sent me a house today.
Every day.
Right next door to theirs.
No, just down the street on a street called Winterdale. Four-bedroom house with the master suite on one side and everything else on the other.
Whoa, perfect.
So I'd only have to go over there to do laundry.
Hey.
So, and those
nothing
three
wrong with that.
bedrooms would have to share a bath.
Right.
We'd have to what? To do laundry.
Yeah, the laundry room is on the other side.
Oh,
of the
you have
house.
to go on the other side of the house.
Yeah.
I thought you meant over to Lindsay's. So like, we don't have that.
Nope. It's
No laundry room.
No, I like the way it's set up. It's set up with a nice open kitchen with
That's how a lot of the houses we looked at. How much is it?
$319.
Oh, okay. I'll
So
go
it's
get
not
my
bad.
wallet.
It's not bad.
Yeah, you just dip that out of petty cash, right?
Well, you know what? If we just sold this house as is, we'd probably get $250.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, if we just sold it as is right now, $250. It's worth
I
$300.
figure I'm gonna have to
$300.
put at least 8 or 10 in it. I mean, at least. That's her computer.
Oh.
Did you hear the ding?
Yeah, I heard the ding.
Yeah, it's pretty loud.
That's all right. I thought it was a phone call from your daughter.
No, that's a Facebook call.
Oh.
That was my boss, and she's got me back to doing the question of the day.
Oh.
And I did not do it because I couldn't hold my head up for yesterday, and then this morning I just said I'm just going to lay here and get better. And
tell him to call me. I'll give him a question of the day.
Well, hers was
if you had a
sunroom, how would you set it up? And I set it up as a studio area where I can feel like I'm outside.
Hey,
so if you had a sunroom, what would you do with it?
I would turn it into an outdoor living room area with up in the corner, a little bitty wood stove.
Yeah.
And my studio. When I'm not using my studio, I could go out there and relax with a cup of coffee in the morning with a nice warm fire in the winter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
Exactly what I'd do with it. We've talked about it on our back deck, is in closing it completely off.
A lot of people end up spending most of their time in those.
Get them set up, a lot of people will take a sunroom over a deck.
Oh, yeah, I
would.
We haven't used our deck for really anything.
I haven't used it for a year and a half.
We got a deck, but it's just there. Yeah.
Well, that's the same way with ours. The only thing our deck gets used for, I open the back door up, the dog goes out and goes off the deck into her pen and goes to the bathroom and comes. She gets more use of the deck than I do.
Yeah.
The stray cats got all the use of our deck.
Well, with Lauren's dogs, our deck is above them. When she lets them out, it's got a little fence around there, so that kind of keeps a lot of the weather off them anyway.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, if we had a sunroom, like I said, I would make a studio area, but I would also have a breakfast area out there.
And we got a new little doggy today.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's adorable.
It will be adorable until it does something.
Well, I got to give it credit. It's 8 weeks old, and it's already potty trained on the puppy pads.
Oh, wow.
I'm really impressed with it.
Since Dara's here in the chat, she's going to want to know what kind of dog it is, and can you show it to her?
Yes, I can. Give me a second and talk to Dara, and I'll go get Roxy.
She's going to
Roxy.
Baby
she sounds
Roxy.
like, is she a Dalmatian or a Dachshund?
No.
Is she a Dachshund?
No.
Okay.
She's a
Chihuahua.
Maltese mutt.
Oh. All the Roxys I know are Dachshunds.
Oh, yeah, that is a popular name.
And of course, Roxanne is my boss. I would never call her Roxy. But... So we're waiting on Carl to bring the dog. so that Dara can see it. And hello, Barbara.
Hey, Barbara.
And thank you for the well wishes yesterday, Barbara. I am feeling a lot better.
Oh, you got it.
Oh.
We got her away from Tammy for a little bit.
You can't hear us. Now I can.
Stole her from Tammy, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, she was actually sleeping.
Oh.
Okay, there you go, Dara. Yeah, all
Can
the
you see yourself?
all the Roxys I know happen to be dachshunds.
Hey.
How many dogs you got now?
2.
3? 2.
2.
2? What happened to the other one?
The little Chihuahua died last year.
Yeah, that's right. Lost home.
She was 15 years old.
Wow.
But this one's 8 weeks old. It'll probably get about not quite twice the size.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Now, yeah.
Hopefully they estimated right for you.
They did. I seen pictures of Mommy and Daddy. Luckily, Mommy and Daddy had long hair. This one don't. I said, that's the one I want.
Sometimes that changes, you know.
You better not get long hair. Long hair.
You can shave it. That's why they make
what I would do.
So it looks like Carl's infatuated.
Yeah, she's my baby.
Until Tammy spoils her.
Well, Tammy's already spoiled her.
Oh.
Okay, come on.
Oh, she's cute.
No, yeah.
Glad it's him and not
5
me.
minutes of fame on there.
I don't need any more animals.
Well, yeah.
That's the last thing I need.
We got a lot. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Barbara says, "Oh, so cute, Carl. Put her up to the camera so I can see her face. I missed it."
Oh, well, you have to wait. Tammy got her.
That's watch replay.
But yeah. But anyway, folks, this is open mic night. If you have any questions about the paranormal or anything, ask us in the chat room.
Actually, that's what I was going to say. I was going to tell you, you know, I didn't have a guest for tonight.
Yeah.
And I told Ron, I said, I think we can just do open mic night. If somebody wants to come on, we'll send them a link. They can come on and they can talk with us. So
exactly.
If you're out there, you have a paranormal question, because right now we know there's 4 eyes on us. Only 2 are speaking with us.
How many birds do you have?
1.
1? What kind of bird?
Green parrot.
Oh, a parrot. You know, it's funny. When I'm driving around, I listen to Dave Ramsey a lot. Mm-hmm. And a guy called in. He says, I have a part-time job, but it's doing pretty. I'm making pretty good money at it. Guess what his job is in Chicago? He's a parrot watcher. Yeah. He watches, babysits, or bird sits parrots. That's his specialty. He's been around them his whole life.
Well, if he makes good money at it.
$30,000 just doing it. Yeah, I made $30,000 last year just doing it part-time, you know, just watching people's parrots. And he goes, and I enjoy it.
Oh, I know.
That was what he made. That was his profit. I was like, well, I guess you're just out a little, just had to feed him a little bit. And
well, you look at, not changing the subject or anything, but you look at this deal. Okay, Barbara. But you look at this deal that they came out with, that people getting over $600 in their PayPal account.
Yeah.
For selling stuff or anything like that, you're going to get a 1099.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look at how many people are doing side hustle jobs. Looking for jobs on the internet to get paid.
They want cash now.
Yep.
Or you have to break it up.
Hey, if I cash a ticket for over $600 on the horses, I have to report it. It gets reported. I have to turn it in. Of course, I don't have that. I haven't had that problem this year.
Right. Oh, how's your football been doing? Hello, Paranormal Path.
Oh, there was no college last week. NFL, man, the NFL, that's hit or miss. That's either feast or famine. I'm either right on it or it was way off on quite three games.
What'd you think about the player getting fined for the fake injury?
Did you see it?
I seen the replay of it. I didn't see it live.
Yeah, I knew they were faking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, somebody posted that on Facebook, and I went, "Oh my God!"
I don't know if you follow football, but Mike Leach, the Mississippi State head coach, he passed away.
Yeah,
he's that guy. He was hilarious.
He was.
He was funny as all get out. I mean, he was out there in left field on a lot of stuff, but it was so funny to listen to him. Yeah, one guy, there was a reporter, it was one day they asked him, he goes, "Hey, coach, I'm getting married in 9 days. Do you have any advice?" And he goes, "Well, not really." He said 9 days. He goes, "Well, if you had longer, you could say, well, if they ask you, what color you want the wedding to be, just say, I don't care." He goes, "And where should we have the wedding? Just say, I don't care." And what color should the bridesmaids dress? Well, I don't care. And he just kept going on about everything on a wedding. What kind of cake should we have in there? Is this? And he just went on and on. It was funny as hell. But he was serious. He's trying to give this guy advice, and he spent a good 12, 15 minutes just rolling out stuff like that. And the guy's like, "Okay, thanks, coach." He goes, "Oh, glad to be of help."
Right. I mean, it's something else. But again, folks, if you have anything to ask us in the chat room, please ask a question, or we'll send you a link and you can come on here.
Denise and Bridemore. Well, Merry Christmas to you, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
And Paranormal Path, thank you so much for sharing the show. And I think we might have somebody coming in to visit with us.
Oh.
You know me, I don't give up very easy.
I know, that's all right.
One of Denise's stalkers.
Oh.
He's listening, isn't he?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, we're good. He knows.
He knows.
Yeah.
So
But everybody, while we got a lot of people watching, you want to join us? We're still doing it on New Year's Eve, right?
Yep, we're still doing it on New Year's Eve. We're doing probably 10 o'clock to just after midnight, maybe longer, depending upon how interactive everybody wants to be. And
I wish we were healthy enough to drink.
Yeah, me too. And
I haven't touched anything in 4 months.
I think that we should do it kind of like an open mic night, but kind of get people signed up, get them set up to come on so that we know kind of who can come on so we don't have dead time. So
exactly.
Oh, like Ken and Farrah did?
Oh, yeah.
Ken and Farrah. 15 minutes of fame every.
Yeah. Ken and Farrah would call us.
Okay. Well, you guys got to go. So we got more people coming in.
And they would call people that didn't know that they were calling them and putting them on the spot like Ralph Sarchi.
Oh, man.
That was very colorful.
It was.
He may be Catholic and he may be a really good demonologist, but he's very colorful when he's irritated. You think Steve?
We need to find that. We need to find that episode on YouTube or something.
Oh yeah, it's out there.
Oh, I know it's got to be. out.
We need to find it and show it sometime on the show.
Oh man.
Oh my.
That was when they called when we were sampling
scotch in the kitchen.
Scotch. It was all kinds of whiskey.
It was when Crystal was here.
Yeah, she brought
Crystal was
like
here.
A sample
Charlie.
Set. Some were good. Some were taste like aftershave.
And we also when we did the show, I also was still using Periscope back then.
And we did it live.
And and needless to say, that was also the year that we did.
You said, "Oh, Ken and Farrah's on the phone." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, we're in the middle of of sampling because we had a lot to sample.
A
lot.
Yeah,
she brought a whole bunch.
Crystal was
just little bitty bottles, but yeah,
she was part of the.
Felt like it was at
the sample club or sample club or something like that. You know, this this whiskey.
Of the month.
Yeah, of the month club. Basically, they sent 5 vials every month.
She saved up for a while.
So, actually, she had. Well, you knew she had a bunch when she came to Malvern.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, that was stuff she brought back from
Ireland.
Yeah.
And so.
Stuff you can't get here.
So yeah, it was interesting. So, but yeah, just trying to. There's so many things that's happened with them, with Ken and Farrah, that I have forgotten. Like one time we went to their house, and this just brought it up. We were at their house, and Ken spent 20 minutes setting up a phone so that we could tape our candid talk. And so we're out there eating and drinking. And it's dark and you can hardly see us. And he doesn't have a wide angle lens on. So all you can really see is me and Ken.
Right.
You can't see Ron or Farrah really. You can see like this much of Ron's face. And Farrah, about the same. And so he didn't have it pulled out far enough. But oh my God. It got
for a techie.
Yeah, for a techie. And the thing is we couldn't stop laughing, first of all. And then, here's Ken getting serious about stuff. And it's like, I can't stay serious that long.
I used to get a kick out of watching you guys down there with them in their backyard.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's where they hung
out. Yeah. I mean, the lighting wasn't the greatest, but it was always hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was hilarious.
Okay.
It was a nice setup they had too.
Her new house.
It was real nice.
Is really nice.
Yeah, that's a nice area.
So when she's feeling better, we're going to go down there again. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how Matt would feel about us doing something like that on the porch. I think he'd love it.
I don't think he'd care.
He's so easygoing. He is very different than Ken, but
hey,
still
if it's close to the house, he may take you to the deer blind and have you do it in it. Hey,
don't know.
I didn't think about that.
That would be interesting.
Well, we did walk quite a bit of that. I mean, his property is really nice.
Yeah.
Down the road where the river is, it's nice down there too. We went down there Memorial Day weekend because now we share an anniversary. So
yeah.
So now we know where we'll be spending most of our anniversaries for a little while.
Yep.
So unless we're at the beach, then all things are out.
Yeah.
But
that'll be a little while down the road.
Hopefully not too long, but it is what it is. But hopefully my friend will be in here soon. He's your friend too. Trying to get I asked Frank earlier if he wanted to come on, and I told him
Barbara can come on if she wants.
Well, she's getting ready for a show.
She's getting ready for their show tonight.
Right.
If somebody from the Paranormal Path wants to come in, we're more than willing to host you for a little while. If you want to come in, just message me.
We'd like to learn more about your team and what you do.
Here, why don't I just do this? I'm going to cheat.
Put the link in the chat room.
There you go. Anybody wants to come in and chat with us, as long as we don't have over 10 people, we're more than willing to visit with you. We're very happy-go-lucky visitors.
That's right.
And
unless we get an idiot from YouTube,
we get one of those. Well, what?
I'll know as soon as they pop down in the green room.
It would be funny if we could reach one of them.
Oh yeah, it would be.
And maybe conversation.
Conversation could get real good.
Yeah, interview them. Yeah. Say, okay, so you're gonna do that?
Yeah. Hopefully they're not on video because they'll be in their parents' basement in their underwear,
smoking a cigarette.
weird dating sites.
Yeah.
Sites and all that. But
well, actually, what would be funny is if we did talk to him and you find out that everybody, that, hey, you think you're talking to the sweet woman is a voice changer and it's some big fat guy in his underwear.
Oh, exactly. Baby. Hey, I haven't had any pranks on here for, oh God, it was early last year on my Wake Up Gallatin show.
Oh, really?
When I had the two idiots come on.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had a professional comedian come on. It took me about 2 hours to find him on YouTube. And when I seen the picture, I went, oh, that's the same guy. Had the same neck brace on, the same glasses on, same hairdo. Huh?
A neck brace? Is that part of his shtick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one that came on when I did Wake Up Gallatin and everything. And he was going to run for governor in California and had his gun to protect him. And it was a plastic fake gun.
Oh, I remember that guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then we had Patriot Pete come on twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one was real funky.
Was he really truly a patriot or was he just
Oh, no. He was in his mom and dad's basement. That type of guy.
We went.
He popped on the show when I had Luke on there one time on Wake Up Gallatin. I had another guy on there from the UK talking. And he came on and goes, yeah, you're not a patriot. You're not all this and that because we fight against the Brits. And I'm going, what are you talking about? What we did way back in when we came across, we're still in war with. I went, no, we're not.
No.
My God. And he went on for this for about 5 minutes, and I said, goodbye.
Yep.
Let's see. Maybe you can see this.
Trying to start a fight.
Here's Ruby at Target. I don't know if you can see what the.
Probably not.
Oh, yeah.
See what somebody did with the stockings?
Uh-huh.
Guess what I had to fix? I had to move them, and I removed the I, moved it up, and underneath it said Doc, which I'm going, okay, now I know why somebody thought to do that.
Uh-huh.
Because it was already done. I was like, oh. I told Lee, I said, we should have changed it around to where it said Ruby.
People, they're ridiculous now, especially in the big stores where kids are at all the time.
Yeah.
Well, one time we were in Walmart over in Paola, and they had these dog toys. He already remembers it. It had
I've seen
the Abominable Snowman and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And they were in this back somehow, some way. Rudolph was giving something special to the Abominable Snowman.
Yeah.
And I got a picture of it, and it's like, when it comes right down to it, in years, I think I can count how many times I've been in the Paola Walmart shopping in the last 5 years. It might be 4 times.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the last 10, it might still be 5 times. So you figure of all the times for me to be in there to see this,
Exactly. I mean, nothing. We had a picture at Walmart the other day in Cameron. We pull up, me and Tammy did, to go in and get some stuff. And she pulls up, probably 5 or 6 car lengths down from the front door.
Right.
Right. And she pulls up and she goes, look at that. And I look up and there's a SUV parked in front of us and a brand new Corvette parked beside it.
Yep.
And I went, oh, look at the Corvette. And she goes, no, look at the Hawk. And I went, oh my God. There's this Hawk sitting on top of the SUV, a red-tailed Hawk.
Really?
People are pointing and walking, and it's just watching everybody. And I'm going, this is weird. So I got out of the car, walked all the way in front of our car. I mean, I'm not 6 feet away from this bird, and started snapping pictures. It even turned and looked at me when I got a picture.
Yeah.
Nothing. Finally, it flew off, went down on the ground and went underneath a van.
Huh.
And I'm like, what's going on? Is this thing hurt or what?
Right.
No, it was walking around fine.
Huh.
I figured it went, there's free food out here somewhere.
Probably.
On Leah's deck the other day was one sitting there just watching in the window at me.
I see him when I'm walking a lot.
Ho, ho, ho.
Remove.
There's the man.
Hello, Mr. Bennett.
This is all y'all going to see.
That's all we're going to see.
I'll tell you, yesterday.
That's all y'all going to see. Watch here.
You're probably in shorts, aren't you?
Less than.
Listen,
ever since I was a little kid, I did not like pants. I was a shorts and barefoot guy.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, just as God made you, with shorts,
Yeah, yesterday I was so sick, I had to go to the pharmacy to get the medicine. And Ron goes, "You didn't even take off your nightgown." I just pulled a sweatshirt over top and pulled my pants on.
Why should you be any more different than everybody else at Walmart?
I did. Luckily, I didn't have to go in and drive through.
That Walmart up in Cameron, that's a weird Walmart. There's something wrong with that. The building or the people. I don't know what.
It's the people.
That thing's always been weird.
It's the people up here.
Is it?
And it's set up weird.
Yeah, it's an old Walmart.
Yeah, it is.
But it's just a weird one.
It's a big one, but it's old.
Yeah.
So Frank, how have you been? I know you were sick recently as well.
Well, I have been okay. I've had the same illness, whatever the heck it is, since February. I still haven't got a clue what the heck it is. But for a man who used to lift over 600 pounds, I can barely get along on my own speed, my own weight. So I haven't figured that out yet. But, I can breathe better. I've had this thing for, like I said, since February. I tried to force myself into the basement last night to do a workout, and it was rather pitiful. I used to laugh at guys at the gym that did that kind of workout.
Yeah. Well, I hope they figure out what's going on. But
I ain't going to see no doctors.
No.
I sat back and watched my wife go through the treadmills for the last several years, enough with doctors. And quite honestly, outside of draining your Medicare, Medicaid, and whatever insurance you happen to be paying for at the time, you're paying way too much to watch a bunch of people with college degrees on their walls going, maybe we need to send you to another specialist.
Maybe we'll try this.
Or we'll try this and see if it works.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have that going on.
They seem like they tortured her.
My wife, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, she's been through a lot, but let me tell you, the lady is tough.
Yeah.
The Lord blessed us both because, I haven't, y'all don't know my background, but, I should have been put away quite a number of times, but the Lord made the both of us quite resilient, and we heal good.
Well, you did work in demolition, so I know that you had to have a very interesting life.
It hurt.
Yeah.
Hey, Frank, you're supposed to leave the building and then set the explosives off.
That's what they tell you on day one.
I don't know. They told you the order that went.
I gotta clean that up. I'll be right back.
I'm like I said, the Lord dealt us a good hand. We're quite resilient people. We heal good. I'm a guy with over 1,000 burn scars on my body, and I'm still looking pretty fairly darn decent. Thank you very much.
Wow.
But like I said, the Lord took care of us both pretty well. My wife's getting along pretty well too, and you don't appreciate how being relatively normal is until you lose it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I know how you feel. The older I get, I'm like, oh.
Hey, this never occurred to me because I'm really kind of a private person, but for the thousands upon thousands of people listening to this show and watching this show, like I said, last February, what started with me was some upper respiratory thing. And I swear to you, I was supplementing my income at the time, driving for FedEx and doing all the shows in my spare time and the speaking in my spare time. And I swear to you, I had no lung capacity at all. I was dragging my way through everything. Huh. And I couldn't work out anymore because the muscles in my legs are locked up. And so I'm going limping around all over the place. And eventually the thing in the upper respiratory kind of subsided. And for the remainder of the year, I've honestly been fighting this continual game where the muscles of my body just, you know, they lock up and they have, I used to have unlimited energy. And now I'm huffing and puffing doing the simplest things. If anybody out there can equate that to something they're going through, I'd be happy to listen.
Look at what Celine Dion's going through.
So it's still in your lungs?
No.
And you're having trouble breathing still?
No, actually, since then, and this is what the weird thing is.
Yeah.
I've gone through weird little phases with it, where it seems like it went away for a bit, but it's just under the surface. It just, it depends on if you do something that exerts your body, and then you realize, oh, it's just right there waiting to be found. I actually, tried taking myself out jogging and running and jumping over things, and I would have these brief few moments where I'm back, but then I'm right back in square one again, where I can't do barely much of anything. Like I said, it's on the back of my first book. I used to lift 600 pounds.
Yeah, I know. I've read that multiple times. Have you checked out stiff person syndrome?
Yes, I did. I studied it when this first started last spring, and I quickly realized that that's not me.
600 deadlift?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And that's what you call a good day in the gym. And it helps when you have a whole bunch of guys in the room trying to best you. I mean, it really moves you. But in competition, let me tell you what competition's like if you're a weightlifter. You go in there and you are scary. Everybody in the room is scary big and burly and strong. They're eating horseshoes and nails. And it's your turn to go up. You deadlift 600 pounds. The guy that comes after you deadlifts 605. Who's the strongest guy in the room?
Yeah.
That's what being attempting to be a pro weightlifter was like.
Mm-hmm.
He was
yeah, I was in the Air Force. I won my weight class, powerlifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, on our base.
I'm interested in hearing the numbers. Because I'll tell you straight up, my worst competition was bench press.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was my worst one. I'm much better at the bench press today than I was 20-something years ago.
I weighed 175 and benched 350.
Oh, great numbers. Great numbers.
Yeah, I wanted to double my weight. That was my goal.
Yeah, I don't really think
we had to do bench.
Yeah.
We start off with bench. I got a pretty good lead on the bench. After that, I could squat a ton, but I hated to do squats.
Mm-hmm.
I never really worked. I just had naturally strong legs anyway. I did a lot of bike riding and that. I only worked on squats, and it wasn't even that heavy a weight, maybe a couple 100 pounds, just to get kind of the feel and the kind of get the feel of doing the squat. Otherwise, it hurt my knee. It just tore my knees. If I did like a lot of squats and that, it's just bad on your knees, your back, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And I just never worked that hard at it, but I could squat a lot.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'd get a good lead on the bench. Once whoever was in first after the bench, then they'd go in reverse order. So I'd kind of see how much they were, everybody was squatting.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I knew, hey, I know I can beat it by another 50 pounds or so. And I'd just go out, beat them by that. And by the deadlift, I only had the deadlift, 400 or 500 by then. I could deadlift more, but there wasn't no need to.
Yeah. Well, let me throw a few names out at you. Paul Anderson. Anybody remember him?
Sounds familiar.
I'll tell you about him in a second. These are the people who influenced me to get into this. Ken Patera.
Ken Patera. I remember that name.
Yeah. Lou Ferrigno, of course. Everybody knows Big Lou. But Paul Anderson, coming up in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, he was always on TV doing these fantastic feats of strength. He'd show up on Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas, you name it, telethons. Yep. And he holds to this day the Guinness World Book of Records for most weight ever raised by a human being.
Huh.
Well over 2,500 pounds. Damn. And, well, Ken Patera, of course, he represented the United States in the 72 Olympic Games, and he medaled. And from there, he was a pro wrestler. I grew up watching pro wrestling in Baltimore, and you know, I wanted to be Ken Patera. I didn't want to be Elvis. I didn't want to be Lee Majors. I wanted to be, well, Lee Majors' wife was hotter, so let me rethink that. But anyways, I wanted to be Ken Patera when I was growing up.
This Paul Anderson didn't live a very long life.
No, no. But if you research him, he became a minister, and his sermons are still found on YouTube.
Yep.
I growing up watching him.
How much he weighed? 360.
Yeah, he was a bear of a man. He really
He's only your height.
I was gonna say, it doesn't look like he weighs 360.
He started out on his parents' farm.
And look at when he was born, or when he died. Not far.
Yeah, he started out on his parents' farm, taking the rear axle of a tractor. You know, and back then it was all bolted together. It was all one piece, didn't move, nothing.
Right.
And he would like to squat that. He did squats with it. That's how he trained.
Yeah, I think my freshman or sophomore year, you know, the coaches want us, you know, I played all different kinds of sports. And they want us work, you know, lifting weights and that. I couldn't really stay after school all the time.
His camera ain't working.
So what I did, we had these concrete blocks that, you know, my mom used for, you know, it's around the house and that for
cinder blocks.
Cinder block. And that's what I did. I just grabbed some wire and wire tied it, you know, or wrapped it around a bar.
Yeah.
And started lifting.
You improvised, babes. You improvised.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then the funny part is I was doing that at night, you know, every day. And then I didn't look like I could lift very much at all. I mean, I didn't look like it at all. But then the one summer they want us to get ready for football. The coach says, I need you to come in and lift some weights. Well, I've been, you know, using the concrete blocks, but I also actually got some weights later on. But I went in there and he says, yeah, you know, why don't you working out with everybody else? And I said, well, I kind of have a program, you know, I'm doing at home. And they're like, no. So I said, so what do I need to do to, you know, show you that I've been working out and that? And he goes, well, if you can join the 300 club. Well, we had a list of everybody that is mostly linemen, right? That could bench 300. So, and there wasn't a lot of names on this board in our weight room. And I said, well, if I can do 300, you'll leave me alone, right? And I'll go do my own stuff. He said, oh, yeah. You know, everybody's laughing. I said, well, throw 300 on there. And like 2 or 3 guys got on each side, and they're like, oh, we'll spot you, you know, like grab that in. And I did it. Coach is like, what the hell you been doing? I said, I've been lifting concrete blocks.
Yeah. You work with what you got.
He goes, oh, well, keep on doing what you're doing. Like, okay.
So, Frank, back to your health.
You couldn't get any workouts. Hey, you got a hell football team in there trying to use what? 2 bench presses, and I mean, you couldn't do nothing.
Not without sharing.
Well, I read an article in a magazine.
Yeah.
Dr. Franco Colombo, if anybody remembers him. He loved to tell people, you just go up to a quarry and throw big rocks around, pick them up over your head and throw them.
Yeah.
So hell, I was out in the woods picking up huge rocks and throwing them.
I like to watch those strongmen contests. Now those are hard.
Yeah.
I mean, what they do, they're just not, you know, picking up a bunch of weights, man. They're actually, you know, moving cars and pushing trains. And
I know, isn't it awesome? It's still on YouTube. Dr. Frank Colombo broke his leg running with a refrigerator on his back.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, you look at when I was a correction officer down at Moberly, down here, right? First time I was a yard officer and go out on the yard where the rec area is at, they got a professional weightlifting area over there. Now, remind you, we're walking around with a flashlight and a radio on our hip. I watched 3 guys walk over to these barbells, deadlift, squat, pick up, put up, go down, and walk away. Right? So I'm talking to the other officer, and I said, how much are they lifting over there? We went over and counted 975 pounds. They were just sitting there. They'd walk off, do that, walk around a little bit, come back. They'd do about 5 of them in an hour.
You mean 975 on one bar?
Yeah.
Oh, I would pay money to see that.
Oh, go to the prisons, man. You'll see guys doing it all the time. All they do is work out.
Yeah.
They had to have a really good bar for that because most
they did. This was all professional.
This is at the prisons
setup.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Hey, honey, go find me a cop to punch. Okay, good.
I mean, it was unbelievable. And I'm sitting there going, and I got a flashlight and a radio, and they're picking that much weight up. This ain't right.
And you're this little wiry guy that
I'm 6'3",
gonna take you
170 pounds, and I'm looking. I mean, they had shoulders like this with 29-inch waists.
Yeah, that's why I had.
And I'm looking at them going, and how are we supposed to? I know we're supposed to keep them in. Other than that, I don't want to be around them.
Why didn't you have a gun?
Well, a lot of times they will not let the officers inside in close contact to the general population have a weapon because they're going to get it.
Yep.
Right. If you have a weapon, all it takes is 5 of them come at you, and you'll lose the weapon. But back those days, we had the 5-cell mag light, right? Well, you take the batteries out, and you take 2 batteries and fill them up with lead and put them in, and then put 3 batteries on top of them. Your flashlight still works. But let me tell you, it hurts like hell when you get hit by it.
Hey, Denise, do you remember Jessup Correctional Institute?
Oh, yeah. That was Scared Straight.
Yeah, I did a winter there as perimeter security.
Oh, well, I'm glad it was as security and not as an inmate.
No.
Yeah, that's where...
I did one winter there as perimeter security.
For those of you who don't know, that's where Scared Straight was filmed, the very first seasons of that.
Oh, you finally got it.
Hey, we see you.
Bring him up.
You may regret that.
You got it. Hey, there's Pastor Gary.
What's up, Gary?
You may regret that.
You got it. Hey,
how is everybody?
Pastor Gary.
What's up, Gary?
Real good. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good.
You're going to have to turn off.
Real good. How are you doing?
I've been fighting for half an hour.
Real good. How are you doing? Gary, turn your volume down. Gary, turn your we got feedback.
Right now I have his mic muted.
I know.
Okay, so Gary, make sure all your other browsers are off, that only this one is open, and that you're not watching us live on Facebook or YouTube. I'm going to bring you back on. YouTube.
Okay.
I'll bring you back on.
Oh.
YouTube.
Okay. Gary, do you have any other browsers open? Tabs? Gary, do you have any other browsers open?
Yes.
Shut them down.
Okay, they're down now.
Okay.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, now we don't have feedback.
Okay.
Like, my voice sounds horrible when you have to listen to it that many times.
Yeah, when you got to hear that.
Whew. So,
yeah.
Frank, back to your health issues. Have you looked up myositis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and all of the symptoms don't line up for me.
I'm sure you've done more research than Denise just did on her phone.
Yeah, ever since I was struck down with it, I obsessively researched it with all my spare time, obsessively.
Have you ruled out MS?
No, I can't completely rule it out because MS can be hereditary.
Right. And is that in your family?
And you get it in degrees. It doesn't just all slam you bam once.
Right.
My problem is that this came on the tail end of a respiratory virus, and that's the angle I've been pursuing.
Right.
And I haven't really found anything that lines up with it. You could say, hey, he turned a certain age, now he's done.
I know, we're falling apart after we hit 50.
Got to make crazy glue for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait till you hit 70.
Oh, I'm probably, I'd be surprised if I make it.
Now, a dumb question. Did you get vaccinated for COVID?
Oh, no, I'm still alive.
I didn't think
or it's weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer weekend at Bernie's as opposed to a vaccine I know nothing about.
Exactly.
So on that vaccine, I saw that they're trying to create a vaccine for fentanyl.
It was called NICAM.
For fentanyl. Well, I know that's not a vaccine.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's not actually a vaccine. It just reverses the body's reaction to.
Right.
No, they're actually saying that they're trying to create a vaccine for
fentanyl.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
Well, they said they got a cure for certain types of skin cancers too, and I thought, well, that's interesting because I've had that.
And it's not really a cure; it's a vaccine.
Yeah, it's a stupid vaccine for skin cancer. I'm like, well,
that you might or might not get.
We were going to find out in the end that the majority of these illnesses everybody's been going through can be traced back to the central nervous system.
Yeah,
nerve agents. Because along with this, and like y'all know I'm a very private person. I don't want you in my house watching me with my ailments and stuff, and walk around in my shorts talking smack to my cats. But
that's what he does.
They think all authors are these eccentric people walk around naked in their house robes, getting in arguments with their cats.
You're not wearing your
not
house
too far
robes
from the truth, by the way. But one other thing I've got going on for me is that I'm having remarkably heavy muscle and joint pain in the weirdest places, and it's here on Tuesday and gone on Thursday, and I don't see it for a while. And then it's back with a fervor. Problem is that nothing I do motion-wise affects it. It's there whether I do anything or not. And that traces into the neurological system. Only the neurological system can produce that. If it was a simple issue of a strained muscle, it would stick with you for a while and you wouldn't be able to shoulder much until it heals.
Kind of what you're describing with your stuff is like that, like fibromyalgia, which has all these symptoms, zero cure.
Exactly.
And they cannot prove that you have it because I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia over 20 years ago.
Exactly.
And
so they didn't know what was wrong with her. That's what
they didn't know what was wrong. And so when they asked me, it has here in your record that you have fibromyalgia. I said, that's what they said.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they tell Tammy she's got too.
Yeah, when they don't know.
Yeah. And the thing
they don't have a clue.
If I had fibromyalgia.
And I said that back then. Yeah. I said, they don't know what's wrong with you. So they come up with that.
Yeah. And that's what I said too.
That's what they tell my youngest daughter.
And all they want to do is put you on a shitload of medication. And I didn't take any of that medication because I didn't want to take medicine. I even went through a spinal tap. You remember that?
Oh, yeah. I went through a daughter and son.
Was Michael McKeon there?
Just had COVID, but he had his first case of COVID was COVID toe.
COVID toe.
Prevents you from kicking for an NFL team.
He had a toe that swelled up, and they called that COVID.
They did, yep.
But again, that's one of the 99 symptoms of that. And now, like I said, with the fibromyalgia, they did all kinds of tests on me. I had a headache. So I had a headache for 4 years, a migraine for 4 years.
Well, you can only live with Ron for so long and not end up with something.
Well, the thing is that I had 3 kids. I was running, I had full-time. I was running a full-time daycare. We had the greyhounds in the house, and I was working part-time in churches doing daycare just so that we would have extra money. And so I did all this stuff, and I just had a headache. And I mean, one day after 4 years, I woke up and said, I don't think I have a headache. Next day I woke up and it's like, I don't have a headache.
Yeah.
And this is after they had done, like I said, they did the spinal tap. The spinal tap had me down for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The next, because they didn't do the blood patch. And I had a house full of kids the next day because they said, oh, you'll be fine. You can work tomorrow. So I had my 3 kids at that time because I didn't have Leah yet. And there was no school the next day. All the kids were out of school. In fact, I think it was in the summer. And I had 5 or 6 kids that I was watching, and I couldn't get out of my bed. I opened the bedroom door to where I could lay there on the bed and I could see them. And I ordered pizza. And so that's how I babysat that day. You know, who knew that a half dead person watching your kids was better than them staying home alone? But, you know, Ron comes home and here I am half dead on the bed. And he's going, what did they say? I said, they said for me to come up there, but I didn't know how I'd get all these kids in the car and how I could drive there.
Exactly.
And back then there was no car seat rule, no seatbelt rule. I didn't have to have everybody car seated in, but I had a Nissan Maxima, the little one.
Well, that'll keep them from rolling too far.
That's right. They won't go far. You get them all in there as long as you get the door shut. You know, you can fit them all in. But
you had them wedged in.
I did. I mean, I did used to take them out. I used to take them up to Lake Jacomo all the time from where we used to live over in Kansas City, Missouri. I would take them all to Lake Jacomo all the time, but to go to the hospital with them, I just no, can't do that.
And then the rest of your health has been that black mold from up there in Atchison.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Aspergillus mold. So it's sad to know what the name of it is.
But you're not going to go see a doctor at all, right, Frank?
Oh, I'd rather spend my money on something else.
Right.
Or better still, wait till I get old enough for Medicare and let the government pay for it. It makes it easier to be patient with the process if you know you're not paying for it.
Yep.
So what's Teresa say that you need to do?
Oh, she's scared to death. She had never seen me like this before.
Because she doesn't want to take care of you.
Well, no, it's not that. It's that, you know, she's she doesn't. Okay, I'm betting she will not watch this show. But I put on my Facebook how I recently got over something. And I like to sit in the corner in a chair with a hooded sweat on and just kind of hunched over, and I'm maybe sleeping, maybe not, but that's how I write it out. A couple times she came by and checked my pulse to see if I was still alive.
Okay.
Well,
that's really what's concerned. But she had never seen me like this before. I had always had 100% energy. I had always been strong. I had always been able and up and doing and going, and she had never seen me like this before. Is one thing I left out, which if anybody's listening may line up with what you may have, is that, and it's been persistent since February. If I sit down for 10 minutes when I go to get up, it's like I've been sitting down all day. My muscles have no rebound.
Well, just a heads up, if you do need to get up and you don't want us to see below your waist, you can put this on Avatar. Just click on the little corner where it's, I'm pointing, you can't see me pointing, but you can see it up in the upper left-hand corner.
Oh, okay. I don't want to be blue.
So
I want to be another color of blue, man.
You want to be part of the Blue Man group?
Right.
With as cold as it's going to be, we're all going to be part of that.
I'd get some blood work done, if nothing else.
Yeah, just see what you're low on. Like, are you having a vitamin deficiency or something like that?
Well, you know, like I always say, you got to die of something. Personally, I was kind of hoping it was going to be my dream death, you know, the hot naked girl avalanche thing, but it's probably not going to happen.
Well, I guarantee you're not going to have an avalanche where you live. Okay, so that's the first thing. But you have a better shot at the hot naked girl if you go to the doctor and get your blood work done. And that way you can plan it out to where you could be with a hot naked girl.
Have you seen what they're hiring for nurses nowadays?
No.
Yeah.
I fly a lot. Okay. Have you seen what they're letting be flight attendants now?
No, I haven't.
It's not like it was in the 70s.
Yeah. See, back when I was flying, they had to be, I think, 60 and over. They seem pretty old. TWA, I don't know.
I don't know. Their hiring practices got some,
but they were really nice. I loved them.
They're professional.
I've been working the last 2 weeks to get a friend of mine, Walter, checked into the nursing home. He's in the nursing home, trying to get him into an apartment, working with a social worker, and I have no doubt in my mind she either has Alzheimer's or dementia. Every time I see her, she said, "You know, I told you this." I said, "No, you didn't tell me this."
Either that or she thinks you have Alzheimer's.
Or just like yesterday, she demanded the advance notice that we signed up the first day he went in. She said, "You know, we got to get one of those signed up." I said, "We did that the first day." "No, you didn't," she said.
Say, look at the records.
I'm back in there today.
So is
one of the other nurses found it for her.
So Walter's not doing any better?
No.
He's up and down.
So he's going in for...
He's going to be in the apartments they have.
But they found him unconscious? Is that
if
what
it gets well enough.
That was a while back when
I
they
was
found him unconscious.
Okay, so they're trying to move him from full nursing home to assisted living, right?
Yeah.
In the same building.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where my cousin lives, in one of those in Pikeville, Kentucky.
That's about where he needs to be, because
what,
Gary, Walter's now weighing what, 85 pounds? That.
Oh my gosh.
88.
Skinny.
Does he have COPD?
He has a type of thyroid problem that depletes the body of sodium.
So is he taking any medication for that?
He's on medication, yes.
Now?
Is he taking it? I guess while he's in the nursing home, he has to.
Well, what's it been? 4 years ago when he had that other major seizure.
Yeah.
And we found out the doctor he had at that time had him on a thyroid medication that also depletes you of sodium.
Yeah.
Is he going through any form of chelation also?
Well, he has several different kinds of problems. He's got lupus of the skin.
Right.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, when you have too many of the certain kind of metal in your body, they have to use a process called chelation to draw it out of you. Otherwise, it'll start screwing around with the other, fluid minerals in your blood.
Yeah, that's what I was starting to think, is that he has heavy metal.
He's been on disability for years because of having the
full body
epileptic seizures.
Maybe Frank ought to try that.
Right.
How was that called?
Which he's not a big man anyway. He's a tiny frame man.
Yeah, he's small.
But I mean, yeah, he's skin and bone. I mean, it's skin hanging on bones.
That's how my mom was when she died.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure it's not bones hanging on skin.
Well, it could be too. But...
one or the other.
Yeah.
And he's basically gave up.
Yeah, there's a lot of people over the years. There's a lot of people over the years who we thought, you look at them, you think they ain't got much time left, and there they are 10 years later looking just the same.
Yeah.
He's 62 and I'm 78 and I'm in charge of him. Figure that one out.
Well,
he has no family.
Yeah.
Well, Carl, get this.
What?
Since I'm cleaning out his apartment, I found a list of his brothers and sisters and a family album.
Really?
Yep. I haven't started calling yet, but I mean, he's the youngest, so the rest of them may not be still here.
Yeah, well, they need to know.
You
bet.
That's 7-day one.
Mm-hmm.
There's something you could try, Frank. It's a full body cleanse. It's a 7-day. Just to start. No.
Is this going through the back end or in the front?
It's everything.
It goes through your mouth.
You drink
and
it.
Eventually comes out. And it's all pills.
That's what we're all hoping for, because I see myself as this gigantic balloon.
Yeah. It does help with your gut.
Cleansing does help.
What is that? Oh, that's my spleen. Can I have that back? Yeah.
So, hello, Donna. I'm sorry we didn't see you. We did see you sooner, just didn't say anything yet. So, I'm gonna, Walter's on our prayer list, and so are you, Gary, and Frank. You're always on my prayer list.
Oh, you guys.
Well,
And then we got Cassidy on our prayer list. She had another episode, right. Gary.
Oh,
yesterday.
Shit.
Yep.
So,
that's the third or fourth one.
Fourth, I think.
Fourth in a month.
They're coming faster and faster.
Right. That's the part that's scary.
Yep.
Well, hopefully the heart monitor gets on her soon.
Yeah, it should be in probably tomorrow, I think. And then
those are fun to wear.
Yeah.
Hopefully they give her the kind like I had that has the cell phone. They give you the little cell phone to go with it, to where they
theirs wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be the wireless type that they can monitor and all that.
Yeah, both of mine were wireless that I've worn.
Yeah, that's what hers needs to be, hooked right into the hospital so they can.
Yeah, mine, like I said, my second one was basically, they called me, and I had COVID, I was sick, and they called me the next day. Well, they could have called me sooner, I guess, but they called me and they said, what were you doing at 3:30? And I said, I was laying on the bathroom floor. I was really sick and I had diarrhea and all this other stuff. And they going, your heart rate was like 47. And they go, you were like dying. And they go, what were you doing at 11 o'clock this morning? And I just said the same thing, for the next day. And they go, we need to change your medicine. If your heart rate's getting that low. So, and I was about ready to pass out both those times. So, and I was just smart enough to lay myself down so I didn't pass out. Because like last night I was about ready to faint.
You looked horrible.
Multiple times last night. And Ron goes, I hope you're not getting ready to pass out on me. I was like, no. I said, just lay down on my way.
Right.
I can't lift her.
I think Denise is probably tougher than the rest of us combined.
Well, he knows me. He knows me well enough to know that I'll lay down on my way to the kitchen if I have to. I don't care.
I was going to say, Frank, you and Teresa, that you had COVID at least once, right? No? You sure?
None of us tested positive for COVID.
Well,
I took it about a month after all this BS started back in February. I took a COVID test. Clean.
Yeah.
That's good.
There's a woman that I see over here at the lake when I'm walking. She's got a granddaughter. She said she used to run 4 or 5 miles a day and just active. She's in her 20s. But she said she got COVID, and that's been probably 1.5 years, 2 years ago. She said to this day, she has no energy. She can't even run a half a mile without just being dead tired.
I'm glad you brought that up, because for the longest, I've been posting this relentlessly on Facebook and my own pages. Have you noticed since all of this began with the COVID 2 years ago, that one person questioned the testing? Yeah. Everybody going around believing you get tested, it's positive, don't question it.
Right.
I don't know. People should question if the testing is natural.
I question that anyway.
Well, they had up here in our area, you had the hospital at Cameron.
Yeah.
And you had one.
No, when you have it,
I believe it was. In the same day, you go get tested from each one. One would be positive and one would be negative.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if it was COVID, because, only a couple of weeks before I was in Burbank for one of the Hollywood shows and, rubbing elbows with a whole bunch of people I only see once a year. Wouldn't surprise me a darn bit. I never come back from the West Coast healthy.
When I had the heart attack, my doctor said they can't prove it, so they cannot put it down on paper, but they believe my heart attack was brought on by the COVID.
Right.
I think it was.
It probably was.
Yeah, you know, the other night, I don't know if you all watched it, but they did a show on the Amityville Horror again. Jason Halls was host of it. And when they first brought him on to say something, it had the title Paranormal Expert. I believe, well, there's no such thing as a paranormal expert. We know that.
Right,
but you see, COVID is exactly the same thing. There are no such thing as COVID experts because it's like, where is it? You can't get your gloves on it.
You don't. Oh, that's
it goes any direction it wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what the pharmacist we were talking to last night here in town. He said that if you've had COVID, once or twice, he goes, they still don't know what the long-term effects are 2 years down the road.
Nope.
With it.
All right.
What health effects does it cause? Like I said, this woman said her granddaughter was really, really active. I mean, but she said she's just out of gas. She can't even run a quarter mile or half a mile no more. She said
part of my research. I should write a book on this, by the way, because I exhaustively searched this. But something else that came up in my research when I was saying that all of this is eventually going to be traced back to being a neurological situation.
Yeah.
Nerve agents act this way.
Mm-hmm.
And when I researched what people who had had Agent Orange and other creepy things we were tossing around Vietnam in, and the likes, not mustard gas, that's a different thing, but symptoms were really similar. I mean, you can coexist with the effects of Agent Orange over time, but neurologically, you're so compromised, it takes one little thing and it shows.
Right.
You could have a lot of heavy metals in you from whatever.
Yeah.
And just, just do a 7-day body cleanse. No, I'm serious. Just do it and see if that helps. Just to start, but I would also get some blood work done after.
Yeah.
Eventually I plan to.
I mean, if nothing else, that you can get a lot of information just from blood work.
Yeah. Now, Denise, you may remember when you were growing up in the 70s, there was Joel Gibbons walking around eating the forest.
Yeah.
And, that made all of us want to be naturalists. So we all immediately went out and tried to eat trees. Right. That didn't work out too well.
No, it didn't.
You did?
No, we aren't like beavers. Our teeth don't continue to grow.
Well, you look at the area where me and Gary grew up and everything. Oil and gasoline wasn't nothing. You played in the crap.
Yeah.
I mean, at the gas station, there was oil everywhere.
I remember cleaning stuff with gasoline.
Oh, yeah, I still do.
Yeah, I've been around folks in the demolition business that can't handle the fumes from diesel fuel.
Wash them off.
I've been known to siphon gas.
Oh, yeah.
And everything. You always got a mouthful. It never failed.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, you look at that. The dirt we played in, the oil, the grease around the equipment, the farm equipment.
Well, I'm going to tell you, there's proof right there. God watches out for you.
Well, you want to know what I used to play in?
Hey, that's all you can. I know some of the stuff I used to do. I'm like, yeah, somebody was looking out after me.
Oh, they had to watch out for me.
Well,
yeah, they had to.
Okay, so I lived in Patterson, New Jersey.
Not Paterson, Patterson.
That's right, Patterson, New Jersey. And what was in the fallout of every damn thing? Lead.
Yep.
Our yard was concrete.
Your house
and lead
inside and out.
Yeah, the paint was lead.
The paint you were eating.
I wasn't eating it, but I mean, everywhere you went, there was no grass. In the apartment. Now when we moved across the street, we had a grassy yard because my dad bought a house over there. But again, we're digging out there in the dirt. What are we digging in? Lead right on top of it. And what do kids get? They get dirt under their fingernails and they wash their hands, and then you know what? They never get all the dirt out. So exactly. You know that I ate lead as a kid.
Is that what happened?
Well, probably ate paint chips off of the windows.
Oh, yeah.
That was lead based.
What you did.
Actually, I was not the kind of person to put shit in my mouth. So that's the only good thing. See? I was a food person.
Do you want to leave like a little pause here for everybody to insert their own jokes, or just move on?
Go for it.
Go for it.
I don't care.
Well, I grew up on a dairy farm. What do you think I was eating?
Yeah.
Well, if you grew up on a dairy farm, not very much bullshit for one.
Fresh milk is my guess.
A lot of milk and
I'll
a
tell
lot
you
of crap.
what. That's a big difference between fresh milk and what you get in the store. Oh my gosh.
That's not milk.
Well, cream.
That's the only thing I want out of a dairy is when they make it, the cream off the top. The rest of that crap, I don't want nothing to do with.
Oh, of course.
Yep. I remember milking the cow or two.
Oh, we lived on a dairy farm at one time. There was no dairy, there was no cows on it. It was when we lived next door to, you may remember this place, Frank, Hidden Brook. It was a place that people used to go to out in Churchville to dry out. We actually lived right next door to it, and one day,
yeah, you'll remember that, Frank.
Dick Van Dyke.
If you really trace it, Denise has lived next to a lot of toxic things.
Yes.
Boy.
I think she was lived next door to 3 Mile Island. There
Actually,
Pretty much.
actually, we weren't that far from 3 Mile Island, Frank.
I mean, if you dial back in time, there's probably a painting of the Alamo falling to the Mexicans, and in the background is Denise's ancestors going by on a horse and buggy.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It is very possible. But no.
Does
no.
Chernobyl ring a bell?
None of my family's Russian.
Huh.
None of my
Well,
and
as a teenager, I worked at Rockwool, which was an insulation plant.
Yeah.
Do you think we wore masks or gloves or any
No,
of that? No. I'm sitting there putting the flats of insulation in and smashing them down so we could wrap them.
Yep.
Mhm.
Insulation flying everywhere.
Man,
Mhm.
I
Well,
mean,
fortunately, that's Canada's problem.
Yes.
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah. And then Rockwool got in trouble. Their land got in trouble years later, thanks to, what's her name from California that came out. The dirty water in their system causing cancer and all this and that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
did hear
Well,
about,
judging from all the emails I've been getting lately, apparently I was in Camp Lejeune somewhere between 1957 and 1985. And I'm
Me
entitled
too.
to
Oh, I was
a
there
lot of
before I
money.
was born.
somehow, some way I was too.
Yeah, we all get those
I
messages.
almost went in the Marines. I didn't go in. I went in the Air Force instead. But if you just thought about joining the Marines, you were at Camp Lejeune.
Look at this. This came in and
No. No. Drove through there many a time.
There you go, Barbara.
Never in it.
Well, it's like when we drove through that ghost town down there in Oklahoma. You know, we're driving along and
That was weird.
I look and I go, this is a ghost town. I said, this is worse than
It's
driving
like
through
they
one in
were
New
just
Mexico.
picked up and left overnight, and then everything's falling apart.
And it is, and it was all
And so it happened.
yeah.
Exactly.
It was chat. I mean, there was chat everywhere. It was lead poisoning. Got rid of this whole town, and then a tornado said, "To hell with you! We're getting rid of the rest of you." Came through and wiped it out the rest of the way.
Nature cleaning it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee I wouldn't be buying the mushrooms from the plant down the street.
No.
Because remember, we went by that mushroom plant just down past the Native American, the Native American casino down the street. I'm like, this seems very Americanized. Here's all this poison land. We're gonna make sure that the Native Americans get this to where they can put a casino.
Yeah, they always gave them the good land.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that pissed me
Here's
off. When I saw
desert.
that. Grow something.
Make out of it whatever you want.
It's like me, Leah, saying something about, hey, I'd like to try African food. I said, do you like sand?
I think even to this day, the Indian nations are probably not the best negotiators. The government may have given them, leeway to have all these wonderful casinos, but they'll probably still be dumb enough to buy blankets from the U.S. government.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or no, they'll buy those from Mexico. I'm sorry.
By way of China. Sure. Yeah.
Well, it's like we went to Gettysburg. What did I want to get my granddaughter? Something that I had, a bonnet.
Oh,
makes sense. We went to like 12 stores And the one we ended up buying, because there was none, made in China.
Yep.
Why wasn't it made by the Pennsylvania Dutch? You know?
I think the Pennsylvania Dutch are made in China.
I'm beginning to think so, because that kind of pissed me off, because, you know, that's what I was looking for, an authentic bonnet for her. And I could not find one that was made in the USA.
Yeah. Well, like, you could have went up here to Jamesport to the Amish. They would have made you one.
Well, but the fact is that I got my bonnet in Pennsylvania when I was a kid. I was just trying to recreate, you know, my childhood. Nope.
Hey, Denise, got a question for you.
Okay, I got an answer.
I've got new hearing aids, and I'm hearing so much better. The only problem is, who's talking to me in this house? Because I'm hearing voices now.
Uh-oh.
Are the voices familiar to you?
I can't say.
Can you?
They're faint enough. I have trouble picking up, except it's both male and female.
Oh, both? You're getting both?
It sounds like the same people that were messing with you before.
Yep.
But you can just hear them better. Family that I saw. Because I had a family of male, female, boy, and girl. And the boy and girl were like 9 and 10. And I told you what I was seeing of those.
I think it's the same people that you were hearing before. Even when your wife was alive, you were hearing her.
Right.
Hearing them.
Well, I was seeing them. I wasn't hearing them then because I couldn't hear anything. I've got actual hearing aids now, not the enhancements.
Yeah. Hey, Ronald, we would love to hear your story. So
there's a link in the chat room.
Interestingly, when I interviewed a lot of people,
we can interview them through there.
When I interviewed people for my first book, people claim to have paranormal experiences, seeing and hearing things. People with severe hearing trauma were still able to hear voices as crisp and clear as they had their normal hearing. So I don't believe being able to hear paranormal phenomenon is a matter of your mechanical hearing system. I believe it's a matter of the spirit. The spirit has the ability to hear and interpret.
Oh, Frank, my hearing has got, when I take these out at night, I sleep real well because I hear almost nothing.
Could the ghost be in the machine?
Yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah.
That's possible.
He could sit in his chair and lose one of his hearing aids, get up the next day, and it's in the middle of the room.
But aren't these new hearing aids? And you were hearing it before with your old hearing aids, right?
No.
No.
Oh, you weren't?
You know you weren't hearing this before, or no, these are not new?
Yeah, I was seeing some apparitions now and then, but I wasn't hearing them.
He's got you got regular hearing aids now, right, Gary?
Right.
Okay.
He had the enhanced deer hunter hearing aids where he could hear better.
Right.
Before.
Okay, so they are different hearing aids than before. So before, you were hearing voices with the old hearing aids, right?
No.
Mm-mm.
No. Okay, well then apparently you can now hear them. Maybe they're also on the right.
Well,
maybe it's those hearing aids have got the right frequency.
Yeah, because that's one thing that's theorized, that they have a frequency that they can speak on. So
I'm also concerned, you know, they put out so many new devices now, which can be Wi-Fi enabled or third-party access and stuff like that. If it's possible, he's receiving transmissions from elsewhere.
Could be.
This is, you know, people with heart, you know, Wi-Fi heart monitors and stuff like that can have that.
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't. I gotta hear more shit.
It's got to be totally quiet in the house for me to hear them. If television's on, I can't hear them. So
right,
they're real soft.
What are they saying?
Can you make out what they're saying?
Yeah.
Can you make out what they're saying when you hear them?
I just had them a couple of weeks. It says it takes about 3 weeks to really get that, once again, that your mind tunes in to work with these hearing aids. That's what the hearing aid company says.
Well, I'm rather sure they don't want to sit back and go, oh, well, you're picking up ghosts.
Oh, no, they're not going to say that.
I'm sure they're not going to say that. I got a question.
That's not going to be the first place I would go either.
Have any of the rest of you ever had your hand on a person that you're casting a demonic spirit out of, and your hand laying on his arm starts creeping up the arm in waves? That's one of the stories I've got to tell.
Well, that's one.
No, I've never had that.
No, I've never had that happen. And because
I don't do the laying on of hands because, you know, there have been incidents. And I got enough problems. So I don't do the laying on of hands thing.
Yeah.
We tried laying the hands on. Yeah.
Yeah, people call the cops when I do that.
Well,
I have had hands laid on me, and that was also by a cop.
There was 2 of us casting out a demonic spirit out of a 15-year-old boy, and we had a circle of pastors around us. And when the demon left the boy, I looked up, and about half the pastors was white as a sheet.
Well, is he clean now?
He was for 2 years. This took place about 20 years ago.
Oh,
Kept track of him. For 2 years he was, and then he went back into drugs and got worse than he was, which Scripture tells us.
Right.
Life is a slippery rock, isn't it?
And
it's just so easy to slip right back down again.
Yeah.
Plus, he was from a different country too, wasn't he, Gary?
Yeah, if you call Oklahoma a different.
Oh, okay, Oklahoma.
Well, Denise and Ron
you're thinking of the girl from Peru.
Yeah,
that they was casting spirits.
Is that the girl from Ipanema?
No,
I'm kidding.
But I will tell you that if you're in Texas, Oklahoma is a different country. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So just be aware.
Yeah. The second you drive over the state line, all you smell, regardless of how stinky the cattle may be, all you smell is petrol.
Right.
All the way through the state.
Yeah.
And it stops magically when you get to either Arkansas or Missouri.
Well, every time we drive into Texas, it smells like cow manure.
From one end of the state to the other.
Kansas does that in the middle of it.
Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah. I know it does.
Yeah. So basically from liberal
Dodge
Kansas.
City,
yeah, Dodge City's bad.
They got a lot of
liberal Kansas to the New Mexico state line.
Yep.
I am not going to miss that trip.
No.
That
was always aromatic.
Yeah. And in the morning, it's worse.
Yeah, I know.
Because the air's heavier and it's all that dew. It kind of rehydrates everything.
I've sat down at a lot of those beef manufacturing places down there and loaded and sitting in the truck. You had to turn your air on. It just sucked that smell in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you don't use recirculate instead of circulate.
Yeah. You didn't get out of the truck if you didn't have to.
So I had an escalation from my vice president come to me.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, apparently I'm not allowed to be sick.
You're not allowed to be sick.
That clears that up. Good.
Wow.
And they sent it at 6:00.
Did you type back, are you communist?
No, I'm just telling them, hey, there's a process for this. I didn't drop the ball. That's all I'm telling them. Basically, hey, there's a process for this. Follow the process and we wouldn't have a problem.
Well, now all your problems are solved. Just stop being sick. You have your boss's permission.
I had my boss's permission to take the time off. But, you know, when you have a senior manager that reports to a senior manager that reports to a director that reports to a VP, nobody knows what in the hell's going on because
he probably asked his wife what he should do. Yeah.
You figure out the chain of command here? There's too damn many chiefs.
It's all hippies.
Gary, if I may go back and ask you, what were these spirits saying to you?
Out of the boy, he was basically screeching, making all kinds of weird sounds. He was crying. Mm-hmm. When the spirit left him, he immediately relaxed.
Well, no, I mean the ghosts that you were hearing
in your house.
Oh, in that house.
Yeah.
Could you make out
those were soft enough. I couldn't make them out.
But you're like, you just heard voices.
Maybe
but you
after I get more used to these hearing aids, I'll be able to. Also, I'll learn to listen when it's quiet.
Can you change the frequency on those at all?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, can you get AM and FM?
Can you fine tune them at all to hear better?
Can you get shortwave?
He's probably hearing stuff like when we were at Malvern, out of that one room, I was hearing a man and a woman talking, but I mean, it was obviously a man and a woman.
Right.
I couldn't really make out what they were saying. I wasn't paying that close attention to what they were talking about. They were just talking back and forth. But if it ever happens again, I'm going to pay closer attention to what they're saying, maybe. You know.
Now, if you remember the time up there when I was sitting at the bottom of the steps in the attic, to the attic.
Yeah. Yep.
And I had to jump up and yank my hearing enhancements out of my ears because of the yell. And Ron, you were, what, 2 rooms away and heard it?
That's when we had the stick figure in the middle of the doorway that night with Dara and her mom and everything. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was active that night.
Oh man, that was.
So, Carl, do you remember the one stick figure we got at the house down the street from you?
Yeah.
And you had told me that there was supposedly 2 little kids possibly had died there.
Yeah.
And that stick figure was a little short thing, but it walked up to that one window and was looking out that window just like little kids do.
Right. It was below the windowsill, the stick figure was. And that's the only one we picked up in that house with all them corners. You would have figured every corner and every door would have made a stick figure.
We should get back into the courthouse again.
Yeah. All I got to do is come up with insurance on the paranormal team and we can get in. It won't make them happy, but they have to go by what they said.
Right.
Because it's in the records.
Didn't we look at how much insurance would be?
Mm-hmm.
They want $1 million insurance policy.
Oh, yeah. Man. What do we find out it would cost?
I found out from Lloyd's of London.
Yeah.
It'd be $395 a year.
That's not too bad.
It's not bad.
No.
But
of course, we only
need it one night.
Well,
and you can get it.
We'll
for
definitely
one
get
night.
our money's worth.
Well, you could use it. There's a lot of places now that's going to start requiring that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, in case a ghost trips, falls, breaks its neck, and in case of being in court for years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, could be.
That's back when I was at the campground and did these casting outs. And it was a Christian campground where 2 of them took place. In between those 2 casting outs, I woke up one morning and told my wife my back hurts. And she looked, and it was just like I had fist bruises, many of them on my back that I got beat.
Huh.
You know, maybe we could use this.
Didn't have them when I went to bed. And she denied that she did it.
Of course.
Okay, let me tell you something funny but true real quick. My wife's first husband, that's right, I'm not the original.
Me either.
Once woke up in the middle of the night, punched her in the mouth, and went back to sleep. Had no memory of it the next day.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Well, Denise first did that while he was awake.
But my wife also told me that she would never use her fist on me. If
you were not a second choice.
Wanted to take care of me, it would be with a cast iron skillet.
Yeah. And Sue would have done that too.
After meeting her, I agree. I think she would.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have hit him, slapped him, or nothing. He might have had a frying pan upside his head. But...
Yep.
It could be possible the reason why you can't make out what the spirits are saying, Gary, is because it's kind of like a baiting tactic to get you to further look into it or further explore it, which is a means of invitation.
Or focus. Yeah, focus.
Yeah.
Right.
So
as humans, we're designed to make sense of things. And like everybody, if somebody says something and didn't quite get it all, you come in and go, I'm sorry. So that's how it reads to me.
That's an actual pretty good reading because that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So, and yes, that is Frank's house, Anthony, and welcome, Anthony, to the Paranormal Pride. So, and Ronald Koval, if you really want to tell us your story, please contact me. We'll get you on.
Yeah, we'll get you on one of the shows.
Paranormal Witness. You just watch the episode.
And then how do we ask him questions about the crap?
We have several paranormal shows on the network.
They made up.
Well, I mean, yeah. How much stuff on Paranormal Witness was made up? Didn't happen the way that they said it, that he says it happened, and that they enhanced.
Oh, yeah.
Like Gary's hearing enhanced.
We've talked to other people that have been on that. They said they changed a few things.
Take liberties.
That's just like any of the paranormal shows.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Well, it's like we were watching. There was something we were watching the other day, and they went a little overboard with their reactions. We were watching this Haunted Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to that other show that we used to watch over there. What was that show called? You guys know what show I'm talking about. The one that was in London.
With the woman and the two guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they would scream before anything even happened. It's like, okay, is this scripted?
Oh, what's her name? What the heck?
They were one of the only paranormal programs ever parodied on Saturday Night Live.
Right. It was.
Yeah.
It was. And I cannot remember the name of it right now.
Somebody passed gas and they just keep going thinking it's a real EVP. I think they said David or something.
Oh.
And there's a lot of evidence that they don't even put on the shows that should be put on the show.
Oh, I know. And we've heard that a lot.
People
that's what Katie
go out investigating, knowing that they can find something, and then when they find something, they go, ah!
Yeah.
Denise, it was called Most Haunted.
That was it.
Yep.
We used to stay when we would stay at hotels. That was we couldn't get it on our cable, when we had cable. And so when we would stay at hotels, they would have it on.
That was our entertainment.
That was because we won't watch commercials and all this other stuff. So we would find something on TV, and we found that on TV, and we started watching it. And I thought that they did great on the parody of on Saturday Night Live. In fact, I think that's the only parody I've watched on there in 20 years.
Yeah.
Because Saturday Night Live has gotten so bad, but that's also a political statement that
I haven't watched Saturday Night Live since, I don't know how long ago was Belushi on there, and
a long time ago.
That's about the last I've watched of it.
Chevy Chase, Belushi.
Got all political.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I used to love those days of them. Eddie Murphy Eddie Murray was good on there. I know. I got this Baltimore thing going on where Eddie Murphy and Eddie Murray get mixed up with them.
Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, it's funny. In my book, my first book, I talk about how I got the name for the Aberdeen Wild Man. And I was sitting a year later, February of '82, I was sitting in my parents' living room. We had guests come down from Edgewood, and it was a married couple. They were fighting at the time, so they didn't want to be together. So the wife was sitting in the kitchen talking to my folks in the next room. The husband was stuck sitting out in the living room with me watching Saturday Night Live. And we got into conversation. Turns out he was a sergeant at the Aberdeen Proving Grounds. His name was Tim. And I dared to tell him about the thing I saw in, the Gunpowder Falls State Park right next door. And he turns over his shoulder and yells into the kitchen, honey, Frank saw the wild man. And it turns out that personnel on the Aberdeen Proving Grounds had seen the creature I had seen the year before, a number of times. And he's the one who gave me the name.
Yeah.
Because up till then, I didn't know what the heck to say about it or call it.
Right. When you talk about the Aberdeen Wild Man, I've read your book a couple times. I've read the.
Oh, so you're the one that read it.
Yeah. Read the passages and all that in there about it.
She was here.
Oh, I knew she was here.
What you doing?
Mom, I need help.
With what?
How do I access
I'll be back.
The what? Access what?
So how long ago did you write that book?
Moi? Oh, I published it back in 2015.
2015.
It took more than 5 years to write, though, because I did it all in pieces. And it took a long time to do the research.
I'll bet it did.
I thought you came out with that book longer than that.
No. Yeah, 2015, maybe
Okay.
late 2014. It was actually published 1 week after my dad died. Weird coincidence.
Well, you must have had it published
Just
about the time you was at the Kansas City Paracon.
yeah, the Paracon. That's when we met you.
That was the first year I started doing touring
Right.
to promote the book.
They had
where I
been
met
first
you
year.
at, and so did Pastor Gary.
Yeah.
Because the first live event I went to where I thought I could publish and promote the book was the Baltimore Comic-Con, and that was a big mistake because nobody knew me and that was just a bad show. Peter Mayhew was there from Star Wars, and that was about the only good thing about it. And you can hear him do the Chewbacca thing from across the room.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you could see him from across the room because he's a tall son of a gun.
Oh, I bet he is.
Oh, yeah. But he passed away.
You just need to know how to get to the Lewisburg Christmas light map.
Oh.
Because they're having voting here in town on all the Christmas lights. And one person up the street, that we talked about them doing all this construction around here. Well, they left a big giant pile of dirt in one of their yards. Well, they decorated it for Christmas.
I love that.
So I think they should win.
Like
you make the most out of something. Yeah.
From an elf sticking out of the ground.
So, yeah. So house number 11 in Lewisburg, if anybody in Lewisburg is listening and you want to vote.
Know how to vote.
She's wanting to know how to vote and where to go to see all the Christmas
There's a lot
lights.
of good houses.
And Ruby's favorite is the outhouse Santa. Santa's sitting in the outhouse and he opens the door and he looks out. And there's got lighted toilet paper on the outside too.
Yep.
So that's Ruby's favorite.
That's funny.
But
the little blow up
animatronic
thing.
So
now I know you all out there love stealing my ideas, but if I had a big pile of dirt in my yard and couldn't do anything with it, I would have turned it into Santa's crash landing site. And that only takes digging a little bit of a hole there and a whole bunch of segments of reindeer and what was left of a sleigh. And
you know what?
That would be good.
If they had left shit in my yard,
I don't think that would win, but it'd be the funniest.
Yeah. So if they had left shit in my yard, I would have done that along with Eddie's trailer. Maybe Eddie's legs sticking up out of the ground as well. But the
Three Stooges did our. I don't know what they're
putting.
They're
in
not
sewer
done
lines.
yet.
Yeah, it's frozen now, so they ain't gonna get it done.
No.
So,
I don't know what they're doing.
between tearing up our yard to put in
Our yard, they tore up the whole town.
Yeah, they tore up. Yeah, I mean, just in our yard, they put in new fiber to the home, but not our home. It's going to cost $300 to go from my yard to my yard.
It was an adventure just to get out of town when they were doing all this stuff.
And they're still not done. So,
no, still not done.
Well, when they're done, what is it going to be? A Denny's? What are they making?
What they're doing is they're putting in new sewer lines, so we're supposed to be getting curbs. Yay!
Well, they got these
curbs and sidewalks.
They got these. It's a narrow 2-lane road, right, to start with. They put these big sewers in. They stick up about, I don't know, what, 2 feet?
No.
They're just...
They stick up as high as a curb.
They stick up pretty high.
As high as a curb.
They're only like, I don't know, 10 feet? 5, 7, 8, 10 feet off the road. This road floods out. So if somebody, hydroplanes and goes, they're going to nail this big pile of concrete. But they have cones around it. That'll protect.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good.
And so
the cones will do the job. And
so
I'm thinking, oh my gosh.
So that's what they're planning on doing. They're trying to put in curbs and a sidewalk to make us cityfied.
Yeah, because you all country folk, I mean, you got to be giving up them outhouses. You just can't keep digging holes and dropping as you please.
I know.
It all be unhealthy.
So there's that.
It's cold in the winter.
The other thing that Lewisburg is now currently bitching about is what's going in at the corner at the light. Everybody's going, if it's this, that's stupid. And I'm like, until it comes in, you don't know.
Nobody knows.
Except for the city council, and they're not saying.
At least with the outhouse, you didn't have the city sewer backing into your basement.
That's true.
That's right.
That's true. But I'm going to tell you something. You got to share it with the outside world, including bees, for one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, what Ron said sure made me think. Nobody knows how hard going to the bathroom is until you have to do it in sub freezing weather in an outhouse or in a porta potty.
You go fast.
Oh Lord!
The bees and every snake in the world wants to hover in there.
Get warm.
Yep.
Believe me. Do you know that's the reason why we have our very own porta potty, so that if I've got to go, I'm going fast and in my own place where I know that it's okay.
Right.
So
that's why when we go out to the cemetery and we're going to stay there for a long period of time, we make sure there's a porta potty and a tent deal.
I wouldn't be half surprised if some town somewhere just gets fed up with how much it costs to do all these utilities and just screw it. We're just going to issue each of you one porta potty. We'll come out and maintain it once a month.
No.
That sounds like Hideaway Lake.
No, I don't want to do that. So I want to get back to this question for you, Frank. So when you saw, this man, your first thought in your head.
I can outrun him. I can outjump him. I can outlift him. Is that what you thought?
I mean, it was the time of Steve Austin and the $1 million man. Yeah, it was that time. But in fact, you're kind of dressed like him right now. But what was the first thought that went through your head when you saw this?
Well, I met Lee Majors not long ago, and he wasn't dressed like Lee Majors.
I guarantee he wasn't. That was very 70s.
Yeah. By the way, you want to laugh? I swear to you, the thought never crossed my mind when I do these things. But as you know, when I go speak live, when you go to meet the public, please don't dress like you do at home. I mean, at least put some effort into what you look like.
I never did.
And when I do these shows, especially some celebrities, they show up in what they rolled out of bed in sometimes.
Yeah.
I recently met Jake Roberts, and I swear to you, he looked like he just rolled out of bed.
Did he look good, though?
Huh?
Did he look good?
No. Death warmed over is probably the best compliment. He was knocking up the lung, too.
Oh,
shit.
The first apparition I saw, the words that come out of my mouth was, "Oh, no, I know him." He'd been gone about 5-6 years.
Yep.
That's the one Carl also knows when
Yep.
I described him.
Oh, when I first saw the Aberdeen wild man, all I saw was a man, what appeared to be a black man, peering at me through the brush on that lone little island out there. And as I said, it's just very common back then for folks to have too much of something and go in the woods and sleep it off. And that's what I thought I was looking at. And my thinking was, how do I get around him and get out of here? Because my back was to the water. And I didn't have a lot of land between me and him to get by. That was my first thought. It wasn't until he got a little more animated that things got interesting.
How long was he there that you saw him?
Grand total, maybe less than 3-4 minutes. I got a good long look at him.
Yeah.
He didn't really start moving until I moved. And up till that point, I just thought it was just some crazed guy going to come down and attack me.
Yeah.
And he would have had me cold because I had water behind me. I couldn't go anywhere.
What was you doing out there?
Yeah.
Well, it was the coldest darn day of the year, February 1980.
Really cold.
And everything was freaking frozen over. And, we didn't have the entertainment they had today. So I decided to go out and walk on one of the local rivers and follow it all the way down to the bay. It was frozen.
A lot of people did that year, to be honest. Remember I told you, Carl, about people driving on the bay and a couple of their cars went through?
Yeah.
And the people who think they can ice skate out there too, that was a good one. Ice
skating was okay, but it was the fires on the river, the fire barrels, and the
I know those people, man. But I just went about as far as I could till the ice got too thin. I broke through and scampered on the shore, and I was out in the marshes. And I figured, you're out this far, you might as well finish the rest of your trip. You're miles from home. And so I just kept going as far as I could until I ran out of land to walk on. That's what I was doing there.
Yeah.
So that was our version of Nintendo.
Right.
Bouncing from block to block like Mario.
Back then, it was nothing. I mean, I ran around the woods all the time. We would try and actually get lost. Seriously, I don't know how many miles we'd walk back in the woods. We would try and get ourselves lost to see if we can find our way back.
That must have been hell on your parents. If you bother them, they know they can't tell you to get lost.
Right. That's what we did. We ran around the woods. I mean, it didn't matter if it was hot, cold, nothing.
Yeah, I remember running around by Deep Creek and, Middle River, Back River, Back River Neck Road. All this stuff. Just
of course, the woods we ran around in. If you went far enough west, you'd run into the river. So I obviously knew where we were.
Well, that's like growing up, man. We was always in the timber doing something.
Yeah.
But nowadays, anytime I go into the timber, I have a weapon with me.
I had a weapon too. I had a bayonet on my belt just in case. Because, in previous incidences walking out there were boys that would roam the railroad tracks with baseball bats.
Oh, yeah.
And I squirreled my way out of a lot of situations back by myself. When I was a kid, I was very small. I got beat up a lot. And when I got older and bigger, people left me alone. But that's when they start coming at you in pairs and 3s and 4s, and you got to get creative. Mm-hmm. And so I had a bayonet on my belt when I, went out on walks out that way as much.
To give you an idea, I ran into Richie the other day, the redneck pimp, talking to him. Said, "How's your deer hunting going?" He pulls his phone out to show me a picture. He shot a real nice 8-point buck. The guys went over, found the deer, walked from the deer 200 yards to get the UTV to go pick it up, right? When they got back there, the whole hind quarter was already ripped off of it.
From a bear?
Cat.
Oh,
wow.
Shit.
Within 7 minutes, that cat went to that deer and ripped. He showed me a picture of it.
Mountain lion, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Wow. They know what they're doing, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, used to, we didn't have to worry about that. Now you go get in a deer stand, 5 o'clock in the morning, man, I'm shining flashlights everywhere in the trees. Looking.
We've got some big old cats out here. I saw, and the coyotes are looking excellent. They're not looking mangy right now.
No, they're fat.
They look overfed. So
fat and happy, and I saw a red fox today coming home. That thing was fat and happy.
yeah, we got a whole shitload of foxes this year.
Right.
Yeah, Richie said he's got on camera down there 3 of the cats and 1 bear.
Oh wow.
When is wildcat hunting season?
There isn't.
Can you just shoot them if they're coming
The law is in the conservation department, if you're in fear of your life from that cat,
oh yeah,
you can kill it.
Yeah,
so,
I got news for him. If I see it 300 yards away, I'm in fear of my life.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's what I was telling him. You know, that makes me go back to, you know, the bunny on South Park.
That's right. Or
it was coming at me.
Monty Python.
Yeah.
Trying to get the rabbit.
Holy Grail, yeah. Did you see that
yeah.
rabbit?
At the first glance I see it, I fear for my life. I'll take it down.
What kind of bear? A black bear you saw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them little black bears coming out of Arkansas are coming up this way a lot.
I wonder if they're getting on trucks like the armadillos do.
I don't think so. I think they're just traveling.
Migrating.
They're hitchhiking.
And then the young males have to go find their area. Yeah, they're out thumbing it up going, I need to go up by Hamilton, Nettleton, you know.
Maybe they're just trying to get away from the illegals too.
Could be.
Because Arkansas's got a lot.
Illegal bears coming in, you know.
I've got the solution to the whole illegal immigrant thing coming over the southern border.
Okay.
Instead of shipping them by plane or bus up to New York City or Martha's Vineyard or whatever, ship their tail ends to Alaska, which technically is the United States.
Yeah. Right.
All you got to do is march back through the Yukon.
Yeah. And you know what? Mm-hmm. They'll find out how good their homesteading skills are. And if they settle the land, they get to keep it.
And they'll find out, oh, we went to the wrong weather climate.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And Barbara, when we were looking at houses in both places, there is websites for both of them that tell you where you can find the bears. And do you know that between Crestview and the border of Alabama there, shitloads of bear sightings all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same site that shows you where the turtles are migrating to at this point.
Well, they're talking in the next, I think it's 3 years, they're going to open up bear season up here. So.
Not going to need to kill too many. I mean, up in Kodiak Island, they only have 500 licenses a year to shoot bears. Mm-hmm. And that's where the most bears are. And
they'll probably issue certain permits out like they do for the elk. The elk are down in the Boot Hill down south.
Do you know those things can jump 12 feet?
Yeah.
Straight up.
I know they can.
Yeah.
I've seen them out west on the highways and everything, jumping over fences and running out in the road. And when you're in a semi and it's almost looking at you over the hood.
Oh, yeah.
Just like a moose.
Yep.
I've had moose walk out in front of me.
Moose don't jump 12 feet straight up.
No, but a moose gets mean.
Oh, yeah, I know. More people die every year from moose attacks than they do
and their
from
horns,
attacks.
Their horns against fiberglass front ends aren't good.
A what?
An elk farm.
Oh, well, I know we used to have a reindeer farm on 68.
15-foot fence. Yeah, all the way around.
When we were in New Mexico, we were driving by, and there was a deer farm. You know, mule deer.
Well, you got to grow them someplace.
Well, the thing is I was just really shocked that they had so many, and the fence wasn't very high. And it's like, why? Apparently, mule deer can't jump very high.
No, they don't jump as high as whitetail do. They hop. If you ever see mule deer out, they're hopping like a rabbit.
Yeah.
And see, they weren't moving. It was warm that day. But, and of course, that was also the day that
Barbara said
he shut the trunk on my face.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Barbara's got him down there in Florida.
Yeah, Barbara said that she had a bear poop in her front yard. And
so
I don't know. I thought bears
pooped that is not right. You're supposed to be doing that in the woods.
If he pooped in my front yard, he'd also be in the freezer.
So the question is, with the bears.
Now you can't say, do bears poop in the woods? No, you got to say,
no,
do bears
poop in the front yard.
Can the gators take the bears?
Well, now, better still. Who would win in a fight, Bigfoot or the moose?
Ooh, I go with Bigfoot.
I have to go with the moose because the moose I know is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the moose couldn't see Bigfoot. How's he going to kick his butt if he can't see him?
Hey, Barbara,
well, if the moose come running at him, he just transports to another location.
The moose will get the Bigfoot down, and Rocky will fly down, just start kicking them in the nads.
Yeah.
Well, Barbara, the best thing is about bear poop is that you can see it, so you know not to step in it, and you can probably smell it before you get there.
Oh, dear God. I imagine if you step in moose poop, the whole world would know it.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure it's not rabbit pellets.
Yeah.
Those Alaskan bush people, don't they? They reach in the bear poop and start feeling it and sniffing it. It's like, boy, this is fresh.
Yeah, you mean the Washington fake bush people?
Yeah.
They're
like, really? You need to hold it and feel it, huh?
So,
all right.
Yeah. Frank, tell everybody where they can find your book at.
Amazon. I'm all over Amazon. And I just published my 4th book, Questions for God, where I, as a Bible teacher, take probably the, 80 most prominent questions I've ever gotten about why are you here? Why do good things happen to bad people? Just the questions people's always laid on me, and I provide the answers.
Why do good things happen to bad people?
Good people. Is that their dyslexia?
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I've never heard that question. I'd like to hear that.
In your book, do you answer the question about the one that we get all the time as paranormal investigators is, they always say stuff along the lines of that looking for ghosts is wrong.
You're not supposed to be seeking spirits, no. No, and I'll be straight up. There's no verse of scripture that says, hey, don't be doing that. But you infer from the context, Jesus is not happy about it, and neither is God. You shouldn't be seeking out people who help you consort with the dead, which is where the term necromancy comes from.
Right.
Because you want to be in a relationship. You're not just curious. You want to be in a relationship.
Okay. To be clear, I don't want to be in a relationship with anything that I can't touch.
Not like the lady in England. And
yes, but what about your spirit? Your spirit, which does not have tangiality, is trying to be in a relationship with something else that does not have tangiality.
Well, I have to say I'm not trying. I don't physically. I don't.
That's why my first book, I was really heavy on the subject of the spirit, because you live with it your whole life. It's everything you are, and yet it's the only thing you take with you. And yet nobody has any concept of their own spirit. None.
I also think that they don't have any concept of the value of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because
exactly.
There is you cannot put a monetary value on it. And in our lives right now, monetary value is everything.
Right. And we got many people going around as, psychics and mediums and all that, who have been dabbling using, their spiritual abilities, completely misinterpreting the whys and wherefores of how this is working. They believe it is a gift. It could also be a curse.
Right.
I agree. That's why I never tell people I'm a medium.
That gift can also come from Satan.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And it's very much like picking up a
lot of them don't realize that.
No. Everybody
wants very much like taking a phone call. You're just taking for granted the voice on the other end of the phone is who he says he is.
Exactly.
Not anymore, I don't.
Caller ID. It's the devil calling. So, well, thank you, Frank, for coming on and talking with us. I hope you find out what's going on. And, you're always welcome to come back anytime. If you want to come on, just yell and I'll send you a link. And hopefully we can talk later.
Well, it's one thing I'm good for is talking.
Yep.
It's pretty much just drop the dime and watch me go.
That's right.
A dime? When did you raise your price?
Oh, I've always been cheap. Anybody will tell you that.
And Gary, thank you for finally figuring your computer out. How the camera.
Oh, he's got it now.
Well, I went through a battle because I had put an antivirus on here.
Yeah.
and my computer wasn't recognizing it and wouldn't let me come on Facebook until I proved I was me.
Right. Right.
Well, we're glad you were able to prove it was you.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody will join me next Monday night at 7 p.m. Central when I will have a guest all lined up. And hopefully I will not sound like I'm talking through a funnel at that point. I'm not counting on it. And also join us on New Year's Eve night at 10 o'clock where we're going to be having open mic night again. And hopefully we can have a few more people on to visit with us. And
bring the new year in.
Yep, bring the new year in with the Bill of Rights Network.
That's right. Check out the Bill of Rights Network for all our shows. It's got a pin post at the top. And stay tuned after this show in 55 minutes for Conservative View with Barbara and Phoenix on there. So thank everybody for joining Paranormal Nation Radio Not So Normal here on Tuesday nights. So everybody have a good night, and we will see you next week.
Thank you all.
Good night.
Woohoo!